0% for 72 months. Service? Hey, nobody's better.
Let me tell y'all about selection. We got over 450 new Ford F-150s on the ground and on sale. Super selection of Ford Super Duties, too. F2, 3, 4, and 550s right here in Baxley. Some restrictions apply, but not many.
Ford Expedition, over 70 in stock. And any new 19 can be yours at up to $13,000 savings. Ain't nothing to it but to go on and do it.
Over 80 all-new 2020 Ford Explorers. Woody Folsom Ford. Better get to Baxley for the right price, service, and selection. See dealer for details.
Celebrating 50 years as the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
WIFO-FM, Jessup.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. President Trump's impeachment defense team largely ignored the topic of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. This despite reports that his new book would largely corroborate Democrats' arguments that the president tried to pressure Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son. The topic coming up only once in yesterday's Senate trial.
Nothing in the Bolton revelations, even if true, would rise to the level of an abuse of power or an impeachable offense.
Defense attorney Alan Dershowitz. Americans remain trapped in China because of travel restrictions related to the coronavirus. But Fox's Simon Owen says help is on the way.
The U.S. chartering a flight to take maybe several hundred Americans out of Wuhan, China, the city where the outbreak first emerged.
They will be screened when they arrive here in the U.S. America is listening to Fox News.
The Fox News Rundown is a weekday morning podcast that dives deep into the major and controversial stories of the day. Hosted by the anchors of Fox News Radio. Subscribe now to hear a perspective of news you won't find anywhere else. Listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. Phil Hemmer reports.
These are complex times. They need to be understood in more than just a soundbite. It's important to be fast, but it's most important to be right.
Phil Hemmer reports. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on the Fox News Channel. Subscribe and listen to the latest from Fox News podcasts. It's the Impeachment Witch Hunt with Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. A must listen to get the full legal view of the current impeachment. Greg lays out the historical context and what is on the line legally. All the facts, all in one place.
Due process does apply to congressional investigations.
Go to foxnewspodcasts.com to download and subscribe now. America is listening to Fox News.
Murphy's Builder Supply is where you need to go for all your home improvement projects and hardware needs. They've been serving folks in this area since 1946. Murphy's offers some products and services that you may not know about. They now sell ammunition, both bullets and shells. Murphy's also sells personalized tags for dog collars. They build customized screens for windows and doors. Murphy's can rekey locks, and of course they can make keys. They cut glass for windows, plus Murphy's has monthly door buster specials. Check their Facebook page to see what's on sale. Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jessup. That's Nips Car Wash with a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South down from McDonald's in Jessup.
8:03 here at WIFO. Time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on FM 105.5. That's brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply and Nips Car Wash. It's a Tuesday with Tillery. Bob, good morning.
It is, and on the phone with us is State Senator Blake Tillery. Blake, I know you're a busy man. Appreciate you calling in. Give us the latest what's happening up in there at Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, hey, Bob, yeah, thanks for letting me do it. I actually was able to step over into a side room. One of our staffers, Collins, let me use his office to call you guys back this morning. We got a lot of folks running around the Capitol. I appreciate Collins doing that. Already seen some folks from Jessup running around. Mark Watson and Tempe Anderson and Joyce Cerncy are upstairs in room 450. They're here with the Housing Authority today. I was able to speak with them for a few seconds and literally shake Dale Keith's hand as I was running into the office to holler at you guys. So Wayne County's well represented running around today.
Well, that sounds good. What's going on in Atlanta? What's besides the budget?
Today,
what do we know what's going on?
Today you've got a couple. One bill on the Senate floor. It involves dual enrollment. It's House Bill 444. Looks like folks have kind of reached a compromise there. It was as you know, our dual enrollment program was Move On When Ready, helping high school kids take some college classes. Our area has benefited greatly from it. I know Coastal Pines has used it to their advantage as well, in a good way, help folks get ready to go off to get some college credits and saving their parents money too. Some of the issues we had is some schools, not in our area, kind of gaming the system. You know, we were paying for things. You and I think have talked about this before, paying for Zumba, paying for classes that didn't transfer to colleges, paying for things that weren't in core areas, that weren't core classes. So we've been tasked with trying to limit that to core classes to help folks get into the workforce, not necessarily take PE classes. And that they've come back and been able to work out a deal on that one. Lindsey Tippins, our higher education chair, who was a school board member in Cobb County for many years, signed off. Appropriations, Jack Hill signed off. The TCSG system has expressed that they understand where we're going with this now, and the USG as well. For folks back home, let you know where if this bill were to pass, and I think it will today, what it does limits the dual enrollment hours to 30 hours, but there's a corollary, and it benefits us since we've got a technical college right in our backyard. If a student is going into one of these high-demand fields, ones where we know there are jobs that we're trying to force people into, computer technology, aviation mechanics, certified engineer assistants, commercial truck drivers, practical nursing, welding, precision manufacturing, et cetera, the things that we need to fill jobs in, we're going to give you 30 extra hours. Now, if you're just going to focus on philosophy, et cetera, for core classes, you're only going to get the first 30. But if you're willing to go into one of these high-demand fields, we'll give you 60 or help you pay for 60. So I think that's a good focus there. It'll probably pass today. This week we've had a few other bills come across that aren't ready to be voted on yet, but I've signed on to. One reduces the University System of Georgia's tuition by 4%. It's to line up with the governor's 4% cuts and say, hey, USG, folks back home need to fill this in their pockets too. Another bill that deals with local governments being allowed to get into broadband. I'll talk to you more about that as we get later on in the session. PBM legislation. The pharmacists in our area have really explained how their client base is being pushed in a direction that's away from the local pharmacies. They understand that PBM logo, although most of us who aren't pharmacists don't. It's a really big deal for them. And then healthcare cost transparency. When I was down in Jessup talking with you early on, 2-3 weeks ago, told you broadband healthcare in the budget, and that's where my focus has been. I'd be remiss to not mention a few other things, too. As you know, last week we lost a deputy, not in Wayne County, but over across the river in Long County, Deputy Sheldon Gordon Whitman. He had been with Chatham County for about 6 years and had been with Long County for not even quite a year yet. Lost his life in the line of duty, and I know your listeners, our hearts here, and the hearts of your listeners go out to his wife, Alyssa Ann, and the 3 children he leaves behind. Really puts life in perspective.
It definitely does. Again, that funeral is set for this Saturday. The visitation is Friday. But as you mentioned, broadband, you mentioned that, and everybody that was here for the Eggs and Issues talked about that. So where do we stand on that, and how's that going to proceed during the session?
Yeah, 2 things. One, I appreciate our EMCs who've gotten involved. I've been a little bit disappointed. One of them, not Satilla, but Canucci, north of us, but I represent part of that area, elected to not move into the broadband market. Altamaha, to our west and north, has elected to try to move that direction. They were turned down on their first grant proposal. They are renewing and getting ready to move in again. I'm drafting a bill. One of the things with the EMCs that's sort of been a holdback is something called cross-subsidization. In other words, the cable companies, et cetera, feel that they're at a disadvantage if the EMCs can use money that they're making on electricity to move into broadband. I understand that. I see their thoughts on that. But my position is if these cable companies are not going to move into the broadband areas and serve our area, that cross-subsidization rule should be stricken. And I'm working on a little draft for that to say, hey, Comcast, AT&T, et cetera, if you don't move into the remote parts of Wayne County in 2 years, 3 years, like you told us you plan to do, that Satilla could cross-subsidize and move in there quicker. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 years, so I'm drafting this now to I think that'll be a precipice to move folks a little bit faster, maybe an impetus there to get the ball rolling for our cable companies.
Again, reading about the session, they still say they don't know how long it's going to go. Have you any idea? Do you see it going past the 40 days? Or?
Well, it won't go past 40 days. The question is how long the 40 days will go. Early projections where we'd be out sometime mid-March. I think now that's pushed to late March. It could go early April. The budget issues are real. The big discussion. I know you guys get our column, and thanks for sharing it out. The big question right now is you've got a $350 million teacher raise. You've got a tax cut that the House feels we have committed to the citizens of Georgia, and then you've got cuts everywhere else to sort of pay for that. You can't do the position of most is that you can't do the tax cut and the full teacher raise. There are a lot of folks I've heard from back home that are upset about the raise at a time where they feel that their departments, if they work for corrections or DOT, et cetera, are being slashed. It's not an easy time right here. There's hard decisions to be made. I fully support our teachers, appreciate what they do in the classroom. I would like to make sure that we tailor that raise to the classroom, and I think that might free us up a little bit of money to work on some of the other areas.
And if you're just joining us on the phone with us, the State Senator Blake Tillery, Tuesdays with Tillery. Blake, the big story statewide, it appears that U.S. Representative Doug Collins is going to throw his hat into this U.S. Senate race, and that's going to be interesting. You're going to be able to stay out of that crossfire because the governor is back in Kevin.
I don't think it's crossfire. I don't think it's crossfire for me. I mean,
well, you're the governor's right-hand guy, and he's supporting Loeffler.
Doug Collins has been a very good friend to me for a very long time. He's going to be here this morning. I got my own race to worry about. I can't worry about anybody else's.
Well, this is going to be must-see TV, though. I mean, you don't see people in their own party battling against one another. This should be an interesting race. All the polls say Kelly Loeffler is just not known by most people. Most people don't know who she is.
Yeah, I disagree with you on part of that. I think we fight in the parties all the time. You remember Casey Cagle and Brian Kemp were in the same party, and they went to war. Jeff Duncan and David Schaefer were in the same party, and they went to war. So we're used to internal battles. The question is whether or not that battle will be in a May primary or really be in a November, what folks up here call a jungle primary, where everyone is in, the Democrats, the Republicans, et cetera. I think we got strong candidates. You got, Doug Collins has been a good friend of mine for many, many years. If the question I have is if he does run for the Senate, do we have someone who's strong and can replace him up in Georgia 9? Because he has been a strong advocate for the president. We're going to need to make sure we still have a strong advocate up in Northeast Georgia fighting for the president if Doug goes over to the Senate.
How soon does the budget get approved?
I think that's going to take a while, and that is going to hold up the calendar. You asked about when these 40 days will end. The House starts that budget process by the Constitution, and they generally don't like to agree to days of session. So right now they've agreed through day 9. We know that day 9 will be on Monday. And that's as far as I know our calendar right now. And the reason that they kind of take that position is they don't want to burn too many days before a amended budget is passed. So once we can get agreements on the amended budget, which remember we're in the amended budget year right now, then they usually will set a few more days to let us figure out how we're going to do the big budget, which is the 2021 budget, which would start July 1st. My concerns about the July budget are pretty heavy, too. I don't think we're going to hit the revenue estimates in those. So I'm really concerned that next January we're back here doing the exact same thing we're doing now, which is really cutting back, but maybe even cutting back further.
Well, when you and Bill Werkheiser and Steve Meeks were here at Eggs and Issues, you said budget would be the main topic of discussion. That seems to be the big headline. Does anything else get headlines up there in Atlanta right now? Because that's all you hear about is the budget. I mean, all these bills that are being proposed. Where's the coverage on that?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Right now, I think the budget really is taking the air out of the room. I think I said that at Eggs and Issues.
All right.
I thought it would. It is. You're seeing stories up here that are written in certain media narratives to drive wedges for particular interest groups if they feel like they were cut too much and they want to put pressure on certain legislators to help them back. Some of the media narrative is being driven that way. But the truth is this. I'm not willing to go back and ask the people of the state of Georgia for another penny out of their pocket. They got to live within their means when their budgets are tight. Why should the state not have to do the same? And so it's going to be hard, make hard decisions, but I think we're ready to. That's why you send us here. If we've asked for these jobs. If we get tired of making hard decisions, then we need to quit asking for them.
Are you hearing from your constituents, and what's on their minds of the people you're hearing from?
Yeah, not as much. Somewhat on the budget. The dual enrollment thing was a question. Man, the folks in Wayne County have just been so darn good to me. I had somebody call yesterday about a particular issue. I'm not going to bring up the issue right now, but they were so kind. They posted something online that was upset about one of the things that we talked about already, and some folks responded to them, and so they just called me, and one of the comments they made was that people had posted online that they didn't think I'd call them back. Well, I will. It might take a while. I think this return phone call was sometime around 10:30 last night, but luckily they answered. And really just to kind of explain where we're coming from, where we're going. We're going to have to live within our means on this budget, and then they understood that. The things I think we can help people with is with the health care costs to help reduce what's coming out of their pocket. I'm going to focus on that again and keep focusing on broadband. I know we're about to run out of time here, so I do want to mention, I know we got a group coming up here tomorrow. Leadership Wayne's going to be up here, and I appreciate Miss Joy Birch-Meeks. She really takes the lead on setting things up, and I look forward to showing our folks around. So not only are you well represented today, you're going to be well represented up here tomorrow, too.
One final question. I read for several days about the seatbelt bill. Where's that at? Is that going to pass, you think?
I'm not even sure that it has been filed yet, Bob. I'll go back and look on that and be prepared to talk to you more about it next week. Again, I think the focus has all been on these budget items, and just like you said, everything else is sort of falling by the wayside until we can get some grasp of this.
Okay, well, again, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy Tuesdays to be with us on Tuesdays with Tillery. Again, I think the people enjoy hearing from you. Appreciate it.
Busy to talk to you guys. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good time, Bob and Butch.
What's the weather like in Atlanta?
Man, it isn't that bad today. I was able to get up and go running. It was only 37 degrees, so I only went a mile, so I can't really say that I'm doing that great.
Well, last year the Super Bowl was in Atlanta. This year it's in Miami. So you got a Super Bowl prediction for us?
Oh, man. Heck, I don't know.
You don't know?
What do you tell me what you're thinking?
I'm taking the Chiefs.
The Chiefs? I would say the Chiefs. I mean, the 49ers have had a pretty good year, but
I just like Andy Reid. I'm pulling for Andy Reid to get a Super Bowl. You know, he's been coaching a long time, so it'd be nice to get him a trophy.
Well, the 49ers coach is looking for redemption, so.
Well, that's true.
Still thinking about
they got a great team. It should be a great game, but enjoy the week in Atlanta. Like I said, appreciate you calling in on Tuesdays. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thanks, buddy. I'll be pulling for the Chiefs with you. See you.
Okay. Again, those comes the State Senator Blake Tillery. Tuesdays with Tillery here on WIFO FM. Tomorrow we'll hear from State Representative Bill Werkheiser. Wednesdays with Werkheiser again. Monday was Stephen Meeks, but Stephen Meeks was tied up yesterday, could not call in. So we'll hear from him on the Monday after Super Bowl, which should be a holiday. We're still pushing for that, Jonathan. Where's that bill? Super Bowl Monday, holiday. You don't care because you don't watch the game. So you can be here. I tell you, you can do my job Monday. That's right.
I doubt that seriously.
I'm just speechless. You don't even know what to say.
I don't. We need World Series Monday.
World Series Monday. They don't play World Series on Sundays. They play during the week.
Well, I remember when they were played during the day.
No, that's what somebody was, I saw where some kid lobbying for the Super Bowl to be held on Saturday, not Sunday. I just wanted to go back to the afternoon. When I was a kid, the Super Bowl kicked off at 1 o'clock, and it was over by 4. And Super Bowl 9 and 10, when the Steelers were in the Super Bowls. I remember watching those as a kid in the afternoon with the family. So it's just all become a big spectacle now. It's just all about the entertainment.
That's right. Well, we'll have that for you here on WYFO-FM. It'll start at around 2 o'clock with all the pregame festivities from Westwood One.
I said odds makers in Vegas, I think it's a 1-point pick.
Wow.
I think it'll be a pick before the game. I mean, it's just a toss-up.
Yeah.
You got a great defense and good. 49ers can run the ball well. And then the Chiefs have all those weapons on offense and. Should be fun to watch. Should be a good ball game.
Thinking about the earlier Super Bowls, and I wonder if they did that because most of the stadiums, all the stadiums were open pretty much, except maybe the Astrodome.
Yeah.
So if you tried to play it at night,
The worst weather game was Super Bowl 9.
Yeah.
The Superdome was supposed to be ready for that Super Bowl between Pittsburgh and Minnesota, but it was not. So they had to play at the old Tulane Stadium, and they played in a cold, rainy afternoon. I mean, it was just a miserable day for Super Bowl 9, but that's the worst weather game that I've seen thus far in all the Super Bowls. So, but they normally try to go. But lately, they've been going to different sites. Like I said, New York was kind of cold, but it wasn't that bad. But
I remember your trip to
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't bad in the stadium itself, but getting around.
It was bad. Well, they remember they had to cut off half the stadium because that was just a mess because of the ice and everything else. So, a lot of people didn't have tickets. They supposedly sold too many tickets and people couldn't get in. I mean, that was just a mess.
I forgot about that.
That was crazy. Remember, people sued the NFL, and I don't know how
that's right.
I forget how that lawsuit, I don't remember. They were supposed to get Super Bowl tickets for the next couple of years or something.
Right.
I don't know how it worked out. Yeah, that was a mess. Mm-hmm. I remember like I said, the media's got their section. They had to put fans in the media section. That was the funniest thing. They told the fans that since they were in the media section, you're not allowed to cheer in the media section. So they tried to tell these fans they could sit there, but they couldn't cheer. And I'll never forget this guy had this Steeler jersey on. He turned around to me. He said, "Look at here, buddy." He said he told me how much he paid for the tickets, how much he paid for the motel. He said, I don't care what they say. I'm going to turn around. He said, I'm going to be yelling and screaming. I said, buddy, you got the right jersey on. As long as you're I said, you're not going to bother me a bit. They tried to tell those people they couldn't cheer in the section. How crazy was that?
Yeah, that's a mess right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Steelers lost that Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers beat us. So, but I remember, that was a crazy Super Bowl. Got there that night, and the ice storm came in, and they weren't prepared. They were like Atlanta. The whole city shut down. They couldn't move.
Where was it? Was it in Dallas or was it? It wasn't last year. It was in Dallas. Wasn't Rome outside doing something? He had a show. They were having to do it out. I think it was in Dallas.
What was it?
They was talking about where they had to do whatever segments out. They had to do a segment outside. He said it just was ridiculous. You couldn't get any guests because nobody was going to come out in that.
All those big shows got a nice setup down in Miami. I watched it yesterday. So.
Still don't have my autographed picture from Jim.
No, you don't. Well, I can't help you because I'm not going to.
That's right. Well, it's been about 10 years now, hasn't it? Almost 10.
Sad thing, I asked him 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I know.
All 3 years he said he'd mail it to me.
Oh, yeah. No, maybe just like Wilbon and your book.
Maybe just got lost in the mail.
That's right. Or your book from Wilbon. That never arrived either.
I didn't want a book from Wilbon. Greg Walker wanted a book from Wilbon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's the one that ate dinner. He ate dinner with us down there. Walker was buddy with him, and he will. Oh yeah, I'll send you an autographed copy of my book. Give me your address.
So he and Kornheiser still doing their show together.
Yeah,
PTI still on. That's been on for like 15 years now, hasn't it?
The best thing I ever got from Super Bowl, talking about people sending you stuff. There was a professional artist there, and we're talking to him. This was before the Hall of Fame announcement. So we're sitting there talking to him. He's talking about how professional artist he is, and all these drawings.
Yeah.
So I told him I was a big Roberto Clemente fan. He said, well, I got a drawing artist. He said, I'll send it to you. And he did send it to me free of charge. I got a thing framed in my apartment. One of the nicest things I've got. The professional artist drawing of my idol, Roberto Clemente.
Yeah.
That was a nice thing that he sent me. No telling how much that's worth. That's a nice But that was pretty good. Just sitting there talking to the guy, and he just sent it to me.
That are worth it. That we're talking about this off the air earlier. That the Nike Online has suspended sales of Kobe Bryant gear.
Somebody trying to take advantage.
Buy it and then turn around and mark it up 500%, and make money off of a tragedy. And I didn't know that much about Kobe other than he was a great basketball player. But when you hear all the things that he was involved in, it's overwhelming how much impact he really had.
Well, he started his second career. He just won an Oscar, like I said, in the documentary. But the thing is, he traveled by helicopter all the time. I didn't realize that was his helicopter that crashed. So, still, that's be a heck of a big helicopter that carried 9 people. I just don't.
You don't think of that. You just think of a little 2-seater, 4-seater, whatever.
Most most helicopters I see is the pilot and room for 3, or 4 at the most.
Well, I mean, they have bigger, I guess, like commercial ones that actually have. You've got the rotors, and you have. I guess some of them have jet engines to kind of speed the flight up even more, but I don't know. That's that is a tragedy, and that's what do they say about parachutes? People that skydive. Why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? It's
a sad story.
Yes, it is. It really is. All right, at 8:24, why don't we take a break, and then we'll find out what's going on in terms of meetings and what you're going to be covering tonight. Butch and Bob brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply and Nips Car Wash.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jessup. That's Nips Car Wash with a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South down from McDonald's in Jessup.
So you've got a lot of meetings and I think court coming up, don't you, in the next couple of days? Yeah.
Couple of days. We got school board today at 6. Also today at 6 is the girls' basketball game tonight against New Hampstead. Boys play at 7:30. Again, that's the last regular season region game. They also play Saturday, a non-region game against Appleton here on Saturday. Also tomorrow, court's in session. You'll have that bond hearing for Thomas Harder, second bond hearing. Again, the first bond hearing was denied by Judge Scarlett, but Judge Robert Guy has been set to hear that case, so he'll have the bond hearing tomorrow. When court gets underway at 9:30, they don't have a special time for it, so no telling when it'll take place tomorrow morning. Also tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the new Cracker Williams Community Center, they're going to have that city-county meeting to talk about their comprehensive strategy plan. That's set for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And at the community center at the Cracker Williams. Looking forward to seeing that building tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so. That and
also the high school scrimmage.
That's right. I was going to bring that up. Yes,
5:30 this afternoon. Howard Bo Warren Field, the first of 3 between the 2 squads that they've selected. So,
well, we got a. There was a post that we shared that they are going to move the sponsorship signs apparently closer to the grandstand, and those are available from the Home Run Club sponsorships. I think they're $125 each. And you can contact us, a Home Run Club member or Coach Mack, or you can go on Facebook and see the post that we shared, or from the Wayne County Home Run Club. So looking forward to the season. Let me look at this real quick before you go. When is our actual first real
10th.
Home game?
The home game is The 11th, I think.
The 11th versus Brantley. That's right. Okay, so Monday in Brunswick, Tuesday
against Brantley, and then that weekend we got the big trip to Atlanta.
Yeah, right, and then we're on the road for 10 days before we come back with Appling on the 21st. But the scrimmage is the 4th, and that is here versus Vidalia. Right. And, of course, all that action going on today, Thursday, and then Saturday for Fun Day.
And a reminder again, if you're into the Super Bowl, want to hear some great guests, and got great lineup.
AM 1375 Sports Radio, they're all on Radio Row with not just players, but celebrities and everybody else with their opinions.
Clay Travis, then it goes to Dan Patrick, Jim Rome, Rich Eisen. They're all there. All got nice setups there in Miami.
I'll tell you, Dan and the Danettes, that is just one incredibly.
They had a great lineup yesterday.
That is a funny show to listen to. Some of the stuff because they don't talk about just sports. They've got all sorts. Even Rich Eisen has great guests, but just Dan and the Danettes, their interplay is really they're just. McLovin. Didn't you hang out with McLovin? Was it Fritzy and McLovin?
It was Fritzy and McLovin, man. We hung out for a couple hours. Had a good time. I like McLovin.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Fritzy and McLovin.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
All right, that's it for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Bob, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, on this 28th day of January, Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Nips Car Wash and Murphy Builder Supply. At 8:29, let's get a quick update from Fox News Radio.
3 main reasons people buy vehicles from one dealership over another.